Hi everyone, my name is Stephen Moody and I am a multiple Ironman, multiple half distance Ironman, multiple marathoner, and I more recently am a heart attack survivor from around 2 weeks ago. So I'm also a YouTuber. I do a lot of race reviews videos and training advice for triathlon on my channel, but this video is going to be very different, but also probably one of the most important one I'm going to ever make. Um, because 2 weeks ago, very much out of the blue, out on a club ride, I suffered a heart attack. I did a mixture of some luck, some smart decisions, some great advice. I survived and came out the other side. So I'm going to talk through this just in terms of like how it happened, what the warning signs were, what I did, and what my future looked like now. As I said, normally in other videos, there's lots of bells and whistles and there's things moving, but this is just literally me in front of the camera, unscripted and speaking from the heart, which thankfully is kind of working at the moment. It also means I'll probably say a couple of things, politically incorrect things, as people know me. But please just focus on the core message, the kind of messages I give in terms of what you should look for, what you should do, and what precautions you can take. Okay, so as I said, look, I'm a multiple Ironman finisher. I've 14 marathons, sub three marathons. And recently, just like a couple of months ago, I completed the Tour de France route, all 21 stages in 21 days, raising money for cure leukemia. But that did not stop me last Sunday having a heart attack out in a club cycle. Now, I was out as a typical training week. It was cold, by the way. This is important later on. Been a normal training week. Wasn't feeling anything unusual, and I just in a 3 hour ride with a lot of road cyclists I go out with, and after an hour, I just felt a tightness across my chest. That's all it was. It wasn't a big Hollywood-esque Homer Simpson-esque heart popping out here. It was just literally a tightness of my chest. So much so I thought, hmm, taking a big gulp of cold air, maybe once my chest is kind of frozen up a little. Will give it a couple of minutes, but it didn't shift. And then I started going, okay, hang on, you're sweating a lot and it's really cold. Now, people know me, I'm sweaty anyhow, but it was freezing, so therefore I shouldn't have been sweating that much. I went, not good. Now, to be very honest, I had two little people on my shoulder. One, man up, don't get dropping the ride. You got dropping these guys last guy. They think you're soft. The other guy, like, this doesn't feel right. You know pain, you know fatigue, you know tiredness, and you're not going hard. So I listened to that guy and went, okay, I gotta stop. Now, this is where the first bit of luck came in. We cycle, I live in Wicklow and we cycle in some beautiful countryside, but and to be miles from civilization at any one point. But I just made the decision I'm going to stop when there's a shop, when there's a cafe or something. I would need to somewhere I can get in and sit down and get warm. So that could have been 15, 20 minutes where we are. And I've got used a sense of direction. So luckily enough, it was 5 minutes on. We cycled along there and I pulled in, told the guys, look, I'm not feeling it. I didn't say, by the way, I think I'm having a heart attack. I didn't know I was having a heart attack at the time. I went, just not feeling it. Off you go, lads. Fine. Off they went. Um, Called the girlfriend and she went, okay, where are you? And I said, I'm at a petrol station. She said, good. Okay, I'm going to come back to you. And it's just described what I was feeling. What she had a really good piece of advice. Said, "Can you get aspirin?" And I went, "Oh, okay, that's a good idea." And I took two aspirin. Again, that also contributed, and the cardiologist told me later on as a very good thing to do at that point in time. Girlfriend Yvonne was down within 15, 20 minutes. We were in the car. And again, to show how oblivious I was to what was going on, I was going, okay, will we go to A&E? Or we're driving past the house. Can I hop in, have a shower? Maybe I'll lie down for a bit. Maybe it'll pass. And you went, no, 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 no. I think we'll go to the A&E. Really good advice and kind of overruled me trying to be in a little bit of denial. Uh, got to Blackrock, accident emergency, really nice medical facility. Went in, they took my ECG and they explained what happened. And nothing was massively wrong with the ECG at that time, but they took the bloods and they said, okay, we need to take two sets of bloods because you've come in so quickly, it takes 3 hours to get the markers in and you're not obviously stressed. So and that everything was very calm at that point. But when the first blood test came back, everything changed. Everything. the whole tone changed. There was a little more urgency, and I didn't realize that. I was a little bit oblivious, because my troponins, again, not a medical advice, but the markers in the blood that says your heart's had a cardiac event were up, elevated. Not massive, but they said, okay. And they gave me a little paper cup of pills. And I've only ever seen one or two in them, but there were 10 in there. So, okay, got that. And going, okay, great. And that was anticoagulant. So they're trying to get the blood further thinned out and prevent a chance of a secondary heart attack because my something was obviously blocked and going wrong. Uh, the second blood test came back and my trobums were way up. I went, okay, great. Checked in. Um, in a short story, a long story short, I had an angiogram where they literally inject dye into your system, and you can see where all the arteries and veins, etc., are. And I at this stage, when I woke up, the chest pain was more or less gone. I thought, oh, this is big. We made a big hullabaloo about nothing. This is really embarrassing. Um, but I could hear them going through the various parts of the okay, right, atrium clear, and I was going, yes, this is perfect. I'm so clear. And then to the point where they got to the my lad was the problem. Childish giggle. My lad, not as in the Irish term of it, it is my left drool descending. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that guy there, that had a 90% blockage. I went, oh, that's not great. And so what they did then, literally, as I'm sitting there on the table watching this big grey screen of what was happening, they put in a stent. Now, a stent is that. They this is micro. It's like it's literally they've gone in through my artery with this micro stuff and this little balloon in the stent. And they get to the where the blockage is and they expand it and that clears the blockage. So I now have a stent here. I was wide awake during all this because I wanted to see what's happening. And I felt this how I felt it. Someone tapped me in the chest. Like that was it. Um, then the next day, there's this event happened at 11 o'clock, probably on Sunday. I had my stent in at around 12 o'clock on the Monday, and I had an echo where they check if there's any damage to the heart, see if anything's gone wrong, due to like blood loss to it, etc. Absolutely fine. Conversation I had with my cardiologist the day after, and this is the lessons learned. Three things kind of kept me from having a very major, can be much more of a major issue was one, I stopped when I felt it, as in I didn't try to man up and go through it. Please, if you ever feel tightness in chest and it doesn't feel right, listen to your body. Two, I took aspirin, more or less when I stopped and I could. So, cool tip, bring aspirin with you, as in especially for guys in 40 to 50, where this is going to be more prevalent. Have aspirin with you. It thins out the blood. So if there is blockages, it stops further blockages. And the third thing I did was I got into A&E ASAP. I didn't try to, shake it off, walk around the house and all the rest. Those three things meant I didn't have a secondary heart attack. And I was able to find one blockage, which is 90% there, and clear it. So if you take anything from this video, please do that. Don't try to no pain, no gain, to something that feels off, and in terms of being proactive and trying to avoid it. I do get bloods taken, by the way, and my blood pressure has always been good. My cholesterol is lowish. My triglycerides, they kind of fatten your blood, they're a little bit high. So I know those and I manage those. So please, if you want to be proactive about this, go and get regular health checks. Go and get an ECG. Go and get your bloods done because I am incredibly healthy, fit, shall we say. And it could happen to me. There are other guys who may not be as fit, and you don't have to be a triathlete, you don't have to be an Ironman, you don't have to be a marathoner. This can affect all of us. So please get schedule health checks and all the rest. You owe it to your family, you owe it to yourself. Um, get your bloods done, etc. Because now as I said, I had a very lucky escape, but again, I made the right decisions. I'd prefer you not to have those make those decisions. What's it look like for me going forward? I have to have My heart is absolutely fine. There's no damage. The echo confirmed that the blockage is gone. I do need to recover for a couple of weeks. Then I do a stress test to see what I can do exercise wise. And then I go into what they call cardio rehab, physiotherapy for your heart. So they will monitor me as I try to return to training and tell me that these are my new heart ranges, etc. Much more involved than like basing it on your heart rate zones or your lactate threshold, because we're now protecting the heart as a muscle. So I have to go through that. I will follow the protocols. I do hope that the fact I was smart and had a bit of luck and I got really good advice, that if I follow the protocol, I'll be able to back training and racing Ironman, etc., going forward. So please share this in terms of if you want to, or tell your friends. If it can happen to a multiple Ironman, it can happen to us. Don't man up if something feels wrong. Have access to aspirin, or sort of like make sure that anyone in your group knows CPR. If I had ignored it and it had crashed out, I would have been reliant on my friends knowing CPR. I don't know if they did. Um, and as I said, just get in, get a team too. It could save your life. It could save your friend's life. Um, that's it, guys. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. I'm just trying to make people aware. And I hope you do take practice steps. I hope that you don't have to go through what I did, but if you do, you know what to do. Okay? Happy training, folks.